Okay, so we're going to take a look now at the blood smear model. On this model, you're going to find all the various components that you can see within a whole blood sample. If you take a look at the model here, you'll notice that there's a yellow colored background. That yellow colored background is meant to represent plasma. Obviously, you'll have your red blood cells. You'll see multiple examples of those here, here, and another location. So you'll have your red blood cells. If you look very closely, you'll notice the little blue specks that pop up throughout the entire model as well. Those represent platelets. So you've got your platelets. Next up, let's take a look at the white blood cells. The most numerous white blood cell would be a neutrophil. It should have a pinkish colored cytoplasm and a nucleus with anywhere from 2 to 5 lobes. You'll find multiple examples of a neutrophil on this model, so I'll point out a few. You'll see one here. Notice how this neutrophil has 2 lobes. You'll see one here. This one actually has 1, 2, 3, 4 lobes. Another neutrophil here, another one there, and also another one here. So you want to look for that consistent pattern of kind of a pinkish color with a multi-lobe nucleus, anywhere from 2 to 5 lobes. Next up, eosinophils. Here's an eosinophil here, here, and also here. If you notice, there's a distinctive difference between the neutrophil with its pinkish color here and the eosinophil, which is classically described as having granules that are red to orange in color. Now, if you look very closely here on the model, you'll see the granules are depicted as being orange. Finally, we'll look at the basophil. The basophil is seen here. Basophil is classically described as having granules that are purple to blue in color and that obscure the nucleus. Now, if you look really closely, these little blue granules are sitting actually on top of the nucleus as well, trying to indicate that scenario. Next up, we'll look at the monocytes. The monocytes are the largest of all white blood cells, so you'll see a monocyte here. Notice the horseshoe shape to its nucleus. There's a monocyte here as well. You might be looking at it from the posterior aspect, so you might not see the complete horseshoe shape, which is the case here. And then you'll also notice that there is another monocyte here as well. You can once again make out the horseshoe-shaped nucleus. And then finally, we have the lymphocytes. The lymphocytes are the smallest of all white blood cells, described as having a large single nucleus with a thin rim of cytoplasm around them. Here's a lymphocyte here. There's another lymphocyte. And then here's another lymphocyte as well. So that's a blood smear model. You'll want to take a look at the entire model. Obviously, you want to be able to recognize the various white blood cells, which is probably going to be the most difficult aspect of it. But don't forget about plasma, the red blood cells, as well as platelets.